Hey everyone, welcome back to AIBiz. I'm your host Sayan, and this is the show where we break down AI's real world impact on business, growth, and innovation. No fluff, no just prompted bro energy, and we're here for strategies that actually survive contact with reality. Today's topic is big because it's about how to succeed in an AI globalized world. Because honestly, the game has changed. Work right now is borderless, competition is more than ever, and AI is basically the new electricity. So, if you're not adapting, you are not just behind, you are getting quite replaced. My guest today is Alan Lazaros, founder and CEO of Next Level University, a global top 100 podcast with 2,200 episodes and over a million listens over 180 plus countries. Alan's story is powerful. He lost his birth father at age 2 and survived a nearly fatal car accident at 26. That wake up call sent him into deep personal development, and now he spent over 11,500 plus hours coaching, training, and podcasting with people all over the world. So, um, welcome to the show, Alan. Let's get straight into this.
Gratitude first. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I think speaking into anyone's life is a privilege and an honor, and it's something I don't take lightly. So I will add as much value as possible. We got 20 minutes, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Likewise, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. And I think a lot of people are still using the old scoreboards in a completely new era. You mean like for example, revenue or output numbers that AI is already making cheaper day by day. So I want to reset that scoreboard. So in a world where AI can write, design, analyze, automate, and right now it's even in the creative fields. Um, I think we need to redefine what success actually mean now for an entrepreneur.
hmm I think every entrepreneur needs to define what success means to them. And for me, it's health, wealth, and love, and I have them each very much defined. And ultimately, this comes down to game theory and infinite games versus finite games, and making sure that you're playing the right game and you're optimizing for the right thing. And so for me, health, wealth, and love. Health is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Wealth is how you earn your money, meaning what do you do? Is it meaningful work to you? How much do you make? Is it increasing or decreasing over time? And then where do you invest it? And I do mean invest it. And then the third one is love, which is your intimate relationship, your immediate family, and then it ripples outward to extended family, clients, mentors, mentees, friends, that kind of thing. And I think that if you have those three things dialed in, health, wealth, and love, and you build them a little bit each day, I think that that's probably the scoreboard that I'm working toward. And AI is a tool that you use to supplement and help you do that.
Yeah, that's a great place to start indeed. And honestly, I see this like, for example, um, two people can have access to these definition of success, right? The same kind of playbook, and one of them still falls under pressure while the other compounds. So, um, I want to talk about towards globalization a bit, or towards that direction because I see AI didn't just speed things up, it has globalized competition for basically everyone right now.
Yep.
And what I mean by that is you have information, pretty much every information you need, right? That was like you didn't have, let's say, 20 years ago. So how do you stay confident when your competitor could be anywhere working 24/7 with AI co-pilots?
For me, we reoriented our entire company around these three things because I believe in the skate to where the puck is going to be, not to where it used to be and not to where it is now. And it's a hockey
Mhm.
metaphor, but
Yeah.
it applies to project into the future and then decide in advance what you want to do about it now. And from the projection of the future that I see, self-driving cars, robotics. I worked for a company called iRobot for a time. They do the Roomba, the
Mhm.
self robotic vacuum, and I I believe that these three things are the future for any company. The first one's human connection. The second one is belonging, and the third one is community. I think that as AI continues to evolve and continues to improve exponentially, and the acceleration accelerates, I think that the thing that human beings will crave more is human connection, belonging, and community. And so my entire
Mhm.
company has reoriented itself around building a global community. So let's contextualize this game for a second. There's 195 countries on planet Earth. There's 8 billion people on planet Earth. There's almost 6 billion people on the internet, 5.65 billion last time I looked it up, but I think it's increased since then because of Starlink and that kind of thing. So there's a huge global marketplace. And so in business, you're not starting a gym and you're competing with other gyms in that town or surrounding towns. Now you're starting a company that is potentially competing with 6 billion people.
Yeah.
And the idea, you also have a market of 6 billion people. You also have a team and talent pool to look to. I mean, we have people all over the world. We have a 22-person team. So I've reoriented my existence around human connection, belonging, and community. And communities are hard to build because they're based on core values. They're based on mutual goals. They're based on mutual passions. And so we have a passion for personal development. Next Level University, we have a passion for setting and achieving goals. And we have a fitness group, and we have a masterclass group, and I have a book club I've been doing for 5 years. So I'm automating and delegating everything that I can outside of those three things: human connection, belonging, and community.
Yeah. I mean, hot take, but I really believe this. That most people don't actually have, um, I mean, an AI problem. They have a self leadership problem. And what he said, right? I can add up to this. For example, I've seen companies, where they're promoting anti-AI content online, right? And almost like it has become a trend these days. I am so with that being said, I wanna ask you that tons of people who are using AI, out of which say 25% are using it well, because what I mean by that is the rest are too lazy to even type a full prompt, right? So in that context, I want to ask you, what does high integrity AI leverage look like in daily execution?
Learning. Uh, I think AI is the best learning tool to ever be invented.
Mm.
I think that what used to take an entire weekend of study, you can curate in 10 minutes. And I use ChatGPT, and I can't think of a time where I didn't learn something at least every single day based on that. But it does come down to compelling questions. So for example, we're going to see Avatar 3 this weekend.
Yeah.
And I've looked up a bunch of stats about Avatar 1 and Avatar 2 and Avatar 3 and IMAX, and when was IMAX founded and why was IMAX founded, and what's happening to theaters, and are there more or less cinemas, and why is that, and how many people are streaming, and when can you stream it, and how much will it cost, and the industry. So to me, learning is important because the more you learn, the more you have a mental map. The more you have a mental map, the more you can make effective decisions and look into the future and go, okay, and you can think more chess moves ahead. And at the end of the day, I think that AI, more than anything, is the best learning tool by far, assuming you actually are using it for that reason and you do your diligence to make sure that it's actually accurate. Because I have this
Yeah.
saying, at Next Level University, we do an episode every day. And it's 0.1% improvement in your pocket every single day from anywhere on the planet, completely free. Next Level University. Next Level You. Not Next Level Kevin, not Next Level Alan, but Next Level You. Okay. If you put $1 on a financial calculator
Mm.
and you grow it by 0.1% every day for 50 years,
Mhm.
you have almost $84 million.
Wow.
If you take weekends off, right? Crazy. If you take weekends off, that $1 becomes only $439,000. Anyone can do this. Anyone can go to Google or ChatGPT or whatever, do this. Now, here's the thing, and this is my point. I did this on a financial calculator for years before the whole
Mhm.
AI revolution, and I did it in ChatGPT, and it got it wrong. ChatGPT does not do numbers super well. It's been weird for me. So my point is you have to take the biases out to the best of your ability. You have to ask it to be unbiased. You have to make sure your questions are targeted. You have to research your research and make sure you see where it's pulling data from. And then on top of that, you also have to make sure it's actually accurate. And assuming that you do all those things, and how do you even know if something's accurate? You ask yourself, does this make sense? Right? How do I
Mhm.
know there's 195 countries?
Mm.
How do I know there's 8 billion people on planet Earth? Like, how do we know this information is accurate? And so, as long as you do due diligence, you can create this awesome mental map, and then you can play the chess game of life. And when I mean life as a
Mhm.
game, what I mean is success and fulfillment and joy and happiness become as a byproduct of a successful life through health, wealth, and love. And so to me, AI is my tool that I use to conceptualize and learn the world. And this is the best metaphor I have, is a self-driving car needs a destination location, which is a goal. It needs a current location, which is self-awareness. And then it needs accurate maps and roads. And if it thinks it's a cliff, if it thinks it's a road and it's actually a cliff, it's going to drive off a cliff and then blame the
mm,
world. I think
mm,
that's what a lot of human beings do is we make poor decisions because we have an inaccurate mental map. If the car thinks it's a road and it's actually a cliff, it's going to keep driving off a cliff repeatedly. And I think we all drive off cliffs repeatedly metaphorically in our lives because when we're young, we don't know anything. So AI
mm,
is the most useful learning tool in the world to update your mental map.
mm. Yeah, wow. I mean, the analogy, the kind of analogies that you gave, I really love them, Alan. And say we have got this figured out, right? Say we have got the system figured out. You talk about content, you talk about sales ops, you talk about customer support, training, decision making, all of that. And from there, say you've built a global audience, right? So from there, if I ask you, how do you scale that impact, income, and reach without becoming content machine or burning out?
Scale. So again, it comes down to what you're trying to accomplish.
Mm,
But as long as you, so that there's this whole thing of eliminate, automate, delegate, procrastinate. Automation is AI, delegate is team, and then you have your one unique thing. So I'll give you mine and I'll lead by example. And then I
mm,
coach 24, 25 actually business owners now. So, and it's been hundreds over the years. Every business owner has to reverse engineer their own goals.
yeah,
So these principles apply to everyone, but the way you apply them has to change based on the goal. Okay. So I'll give you mine. I'll lead by example, but at the end of the day, I want whoever's listening to think of themselves.
yeah,
So for me, I have three main priorities, three strategic priorities. It's coaching, one-on-one coaching, it's training, one to several, and then it's podcasting, one to scale. So those are the three things that I focus on maximizing every single day. One-to-one coaching is me with another client privately behind the scenes. Training is one to several. It's group coaching, or it's my masterclass, or it's book club. It's one to several. So there can be anywhere from 10 people in the room to 100 people in the room, but it's
yeah.
one to several. Podcasting is one to scale, meaning this will exist on the internet in perpetuity, and anyone who wants to can look it up and watch it. And that will provide value. So as a business owner, it's your job to provide value to other people by helping them solve problems and achieve their goals. So the problem that I solve as a human being, but also as a company, is helping people succeed at a higher level. So people come to you for what they want, but they stay for what they need. What people want is to grow their company. What they need is to align their company with who they really are and actually dial in their habits and metrics and start tracking and making sure they're on track. So I'm a computer engineer with a
Mm,
master's in business. And more importantly, I reverse engineer finish lines for people. And I also make sure that they actually are setting goals that are aligned with who they are and who they want to be and with the lifestyle that they actually want. Because in the early days, 11 years ago, when I started mentoring and coaching, people would come to me and say, I want to be a billionaire. And then I would help them reverse engineer that. And then they would realize that they don't want to work every day. And it's like, well,
mm,
that's not really how it works then. And so ultimately, your company solves a problem for a specific type of person, and it needs to be meaningful work for you. And then how do you scale that? You create products, services that the high value requires your direct time, and the lower value is not direct. So, for example, this will live on the internet in perpetuity. That's great, awesome, but that's not as high a value as me customizing something for you one on one. So,
awesome.
the top of the business model is it reaches a lot of people at scale, and it's pretty valuable, but it's free. And then
Mm,
if you want more, you come down and then maybe attend a training or do one-on-one coaching. That requires more of me to be present, more of me to
mm,
customize. So the top of the business model is high volume of people for a low price. The bottom is a low volume of people for a high price. So the top of our business model, we've reached over 1 million people in 180 countries. At the bottom, I coach 25. One of them is 3 times a week. One of them is 4 times a week.
mm,
So
mm,
high volume, low price at the top. And then the middle is medium volume, medium price. And then the bottom is high price, high value, high price. And that's sort of the way every business needs to sort of be structured. Even like Google, if you don't pay any money at Google on YouTube, you see ads. But if you pay whatever $12 a month USD, you don't have to watch the ads. And then if you build a business on Google Workspace, you have to pay even more. And then email
mm,
addresses, that whole thing. And so most people, the majority of the consumer population, has Google for free. But there's certain people who want more from Google that have to pay. And then obviously there's ad revenue and all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, every business needs to be the free to paid model and needs to design it where the free is at scale and the paid is definitely not.
mm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Because at the end of the day, I think, yeah, you have to understand the kind of problem statement that you're dealing with. But also at the end of the day, you have to redefine what success means to you, right? And that shouldn't cost your health, peace of mind, relationship, all of that. Otherwise, it would be just a fancy video with good lighting. So, um, my biggest takeaway from this conversation has been that in this AI-driven world, um, I think it's very important to lead yourself better, because the tools are getting smarter, so you have to get more smarter to get and set the standards right, right? It's and how so you already answered that, reverse engineering the problem statement, and I think that was the crux of today's conversation. So, um, thank you for that, Alan. Bringing both the discipline into the conversation, and just before we wrap this off, would love to ask for my fellow audience, whoever's listening to this, is that where can they reach you at?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Again, I started with gratitude. I want to end with gratitude. I don't take it lightly. Thank you. In terms of where you can reach me, so we have our absolutely people and our absolutely not people. Our absolutely people are people with high humility, eager to learn, high work ethic, eager to work. I am going to be useless to you if you don't want to work. And then they have a high self-improvement orientation, meaning you are into personal development, personal growth, and self-improvement, and you take personal responsibility for your own life. And if that's you, you're going to love what we do at NLU. If there's 2 types of people we never work with. One is spoiled brats, people who want huge rewards for minimal effort. And then the second one is
Mm,
bullies who put other people down to feel better about themselves. So we stay away from those people. We've learned over time we don't get along with those people anyway. You can find us at nextleveluniverse.com. That's our website. You can also find us at Next Level University Podcast. I also have a new podcast called Business Growth University. For any business owner out there, it is definitely the podcast that I would have needed at the beginning of this 9-year journey. And it's how to build a real business in the real world virtually, how to lead
mm,
a virtual team, and how to create products and services that can actually scale with the free to paid model through an engineer's take on business, basically.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks for sharing that, Alan. I'll make sure to include that in the show notes for my listeners, so you can check them out anytime at your convenience. And with that, we hit today's mark on this amazing and very insightful episode with Alan. And um, here's what I actually want you guys to do for this week. I want you to analyze what is repetitive in your workflow right now, and what part actually requires judgment and taste, right? And once you figure that out, I want you to automate. Number one, automate the repetitive piece that you figured, and number two, document that judgment piece as a checklist. And the reflection question then becomes, where am I asking motivation to do the job that structure should be doing, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
thank you all.
You're welcome.
And to everyone listening, if this episode gave you the clarity that you wanted, I wanted to share it with a founder or a business owner or an operator who's trying to keep up while keeping it together. Follow AIBiz for more no-flip conversations on AI, business growth, and staying ahead in a world that's moving very fast. I am Sayan, and this has been AIBiz. Go build your next level on purpose.